friends, I put myself in the heart of the disaster zone. So you really have to take a look at this. Breaking news, disaster alert. Not because 5 gas storage facilities in Germany have completely failed, no, but because there were 2 centimeters of snow. That's why schools were cancelled again today. And this federal government, it's now embarrassing itself to the bone. And I promised you I will show you a few scenes again in this video. A few good recipes that we use, for example, to save a lot of money and also to be a bit prepared for this crisis.
Since the federal government started its work in May of last year, you can see from this that we found a good working rhythm even in the coalition committee.
It's nice that she has a good workload, but I looked up for you which gas storage facilities are involved that have now had a total failure. One of them is Wolfsburg. We've already talked about it. Itzenham West total failure now below 19%. Bierwang has now also just fallen below the critical mark of 20%. Uelzen has fallen below, and Hundorf has also fallen below. That means there are failures here, or total failures of the gas storage facilities, which are no longer supplying, not even to the power plants anymore. And well, the federal government wouldn't be the federal government if it didn't have an answer to that. And please listen to what they have to say.
No longer making this infrastructure so easily publicly accessible or keeping it publicly available, as is obviously the case at the moment. This is about, among other things, geodata and other security-relevant information. We need to move away from this extensive transparency and towards more resilience.
And that brings us to the next point. And what you're not allowed to know, for example, is how full the largest gas storage facilities are here in Germany right now. Here we have Rieden, Gronau, Ypres and Edsel, which means Rieden is on the verge of a complete failure. They have a total capacity of 39 terawatt hours. I'll also explain to you in a moment why the numbers given this morning about the 34% gas storage levy are actually incorrect and that no one has actually checked them. Here the actual fill level is still below 11%. That's critical since nothing is coming in now. Gronau EPE 34%. Edsel is no longer releasing any measurements as of this morning. It says mixed here. It could still be filled to about 80% and would thus far surpass all other gas storage facilities.
You already know the big picture of reform. It consists of the elements productivity, competitiveness and innovation. That also covers skilled labor immigration, the reform of social security systems, the reform of the labor market, better infrastructure, more affordable energy, and also the reduction of bureaucracy.
One of the proofs that this is actually impossible I've shown you here. So nothing but empty phrases because, well, you have to end something now. Either the Data Act has been implemented or the DSGVOLI, by the way, both together are unconstitutional. That's already true during its creation, as shown in this ad hoc news report. Yes, what do you actually think? How many companies will invest in AI technology if they're not even sure they'll really be allowed to use it afterwards? Now, WhatsApp has stricter rules too. That you can definitely be spied on, yes, that's true as well. This leads to gigantic investments.
And also to be able to act in turbulent times, and that's why we are continuing what we started in 2025, reforms.
What is she talking about? I can tell you what the press is talking about, like Handwerkerblatt or Neue Frankfurter Zeitung. They're talking about blackouts, about mass bankruptcies here in Germany, that this location is doomed. And she says, we'll just keep going like we did in 2025. We will destroy you. A watchman said yesterday, no, the day before yesterday, or the day before that, said from whom? We will now forbid rich people from just running away. We'll simply take their money away. That came from the Jusos, so nothing. Going to Dubai. Anyone who hasn't managed to escape by now is just out of luck. That reminds me of a time when Germans weren't allowed to leave the country before.
And I think this Commission has proven that when people are united, when they have the courage and the will to tackle these important structural reforms together at all levels in our country, local, state and federal, they can get things done. We have firmly agreed that we want to shape the ambitious schedule together.
I think the only thing they agree on is ruining this country, really letting it go down the drain. That's the only thing they agree on. I promised you, I got so many emails yesterday. I can't reply to everyone. Please, even if some of you are extremely aggressive towards me because I can't reply to you quickly, that's one thing. Also, regarding the sources, so I'm showing all of them here now. You can check them out. The second thing is all the encouragement I've received. Hey, do you have more of those delicious bread recipes? I'd say I'll show another one here. Quickly take a picture of it with your phone, take a screenshot or something like that. That's also an option. I'd say that's an absolute no-brainer for us here. Or a good example, quick chicken breast is super tasty for bread. Yeah, you take the vacuum bag, throw in the spices you like. By the way, we always add curing salt because of the color. Yeah, I know you'll complain. Why use curing salt? It's very dangerous. But I still want it to look a bit appealing. Then just throw it in a rice cooker or something similar for about an hour and a half and let it go through once. Now I have chicken breast for a few days and I freeze the rest. These are things you can plan ahead for. And above all, it does something to your mind to have things like that in the freezer, to have canned goods, to have things preserved, to have things cooked and stored. It really does something for your head and your psyche. Gas storage facilities are depleting quickly and we've suddenly been affected since yesterday. I'm not really that afraid of it, even if the lights go out here for a few days, and I'll get back to that in a moment. Some crisis preparations you mentioned in yesterday's comments were invaluable.
I have to be honest, we would probably be further along today if we didn't have the challenges abroad. All the tariffs always make things difficult and set us back a bit. Still, the principle has to be keep going. More freedom, freedom from bureaucracy, more performance. That's why I think it's essential.
Well, if we didn't try to play world police everywhere, honestly, then we would. And that's not the big problem. How many billions have we given Ukraine now? Could someone write that here for me? I either forgot or get a stomach ache when I read the numbers, so please write it here. That leads us to the next crisis preparation, which I almost forgot. If the lights go out, make sure to lower the shutters and if necessary, lock the front door as well. Of course, you are right that if there are longer brownouts or even blackouts, there will also be looters out and about. That means you should also make sure not to leave anything outside that could be stolen and so on. Make sure your things are safe out there. Of course, that's really the absolute maximum. If you like that, we always include some crisis preparation tips here. Please let me know in the comments below. For me, that's really, really important, I just have to say. And yes, I haven't given a heart to a lot of comments yet, but I'll do that now. For me, the most important thing is always, what do you want to see? What actually helps you move forward? I can also do that. By the way, tonight during the live stream, we'll go over some things again. And now I'm going to show you a video clip and I'll put it under the headline. Sasha, I was outside for you this morning. Why were the schools canceled? Friends, I have you, I have myself here. I went right into the disaster area. So you really have to take a look at this. I just wanted to draw your attention for a moment. Yes, all schools have been cancelled here. Now it's the 4th or 5th day because an absolute disaster has broken out here. Blizzard storm. Look at this. So I'm going to go right now. Sweep the snow, honestly. We wouldn't have gotten a school day off for this.